A brother and sister meet on the day that their father's will is to be read, and they're joined by a friend of theirs whose father was partners with their father. And through the course of the act, they think they've cracked the secret of the history of their parents. And then we go to 30 years earlier to the scene of their parents' youth, and we find out the real story. It's about legacy and past and present, and how some things are always locked and revelations are rarely to be trusted.
Right out of drama school back in 1936, I was commissioned by someone to write a play, and I wrote a play. And the thing was, because it was a commercial producer, I thought I would try to write, a commercial comedy, whatever that was. I guess I was uncomfortable with the idea, so I ended up writing the most abstruse, unproducible play I could possibly have written. It was meta, it was all over the place. But there was something to it that never left me. 6-8 years later, I read the Jane Jacobs classic, Death and Life of the Great American Cities. And I was at my parents' house, and I was doing something uncharacteristically useful, like mowing the lawn. And I was just going over it, and suddenly this play came to me, and it sort of leaned on some of that earlier play, but completely transformed it.
This play is so well constructed that these moments that they toss away that are so moving, because you realize they're not going to get together. Their kids have the whole story backwards. And then in these moments that they thought were so ordinary were so full that these characters are saying something, and they're so full of emotion, and they cut away to some hilarious, like they're listening to themselves, and cut away to some aside that is so funny.
It all came flooding back to me of just the power of Rich's words, and they really overcome you. And you guys with your big monologues, and they're just so stunning, and they instantly transported me. And I'm this is one of the loveliest days I've ever had.
I always felt with this play, just having young people play their parents was just so heartbreaking to me. And for me, even talking about, like, I'm when I was off, I'm like watching this kind of like, I got like fucking I'm like fucking weeping, not in order to act, but just because the older you get, you're much more aware of generational passing.
We struggled to find this play. We did. I mean, and I remember struggling to find Nan. I found her cold and distant. Now I find her incredibly fabulous. I find her like warm, and I find her truthful, and I get her now.
The emotional journey was exactly the emotional journey that I remember, and there's something sort of beautiful about the centering and the mellowing of the cast as artists, that they it has a different depth than it did back then.
I think we all felt like we were doing this play kind of coming up and getting on the we've all been lucky, and we're on this, I think mostly grateful, and on the other side of fearful ambition. And it's really interesting to look at this, from the other side of that.
People watching it will go, "Oh yeah, look, they're old."
They only rehearsed for 23 years.
They could rehearse that play for 25 years and they'll never get it. Yeah. Bye, you guys.
Thank you all.
It's so
I love each and every one of you.
I know.
Love you.